Welcome to Future Role Model. I'm your host, Natasha Pearl Hansen, and Future Role Model is a podcast that praises the unconventional and redefines what it means to be a role model, because we all kind of suck sometimes, right, John?
Absolutely.
My guest today is John McKay, very funny comedian.
Hey.
Wearing a really awesome yellow shirt, by the way.
Thank you.
I am very sad for the people that cannot see it. It's a vintage, right?
Sure is. I got it at a flea market.
Oh, perfect. Where do you flea market usually?
Usually Melrose Trading Post.
Oh, I like that one.
Take it all in, you know?
I go to the San Diego flea market because I'm badass.
Yeah, brag more.
I don't even think that's a brag. That's an idiotic move, like sit in traffic for 4 hours and go to the largest flea market.
What's at the San Diego flea market? I feel like there's just a bunch of Rip Curl.
It's so cheap.
And Billabong.
It's so cheap. One of my best friends lives down there, and we like to get drunk. We like to get really drunk on a Friday and then go get breakfast burritos in the morning and go to the flea market.
God bless San
We've done
Diego.
it twice, and now it's a routine, obviously. So
Naturally.
So tell me, where can everybody find you on social media?
At John L. McKay.
John Larkin McKay, guys.
Yeah.
Larkin is his middle name. And Larkin is also your furniture company, correct?
Sure is.
Do you want to plug that?
I mean, why not? Thriving.
John makes really good shit with wood, guys. You're basically...
I'm a woodsman.
You're a woodsman.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? A carpenter? Or is wood...
Yeah, more biblical terms.
I feel like a woodsman is like a guy in the woods, like a lumberjack.
I prefer envisioning myself that way. I'm not cutting any wood per se. I'm sanding.
Yeah.
And when you get a little sawdust on you, you feel like a goddamn man.
You're like a sculptor of wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well put.
You need to come to my hometown sometime. Actually, in like a couple weeks, is this festival called Setnamai where people carve statues out of chainsaws.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah. They do trolls. They mainly carve trolls, actually. That's like the only thing that they carve.
That's what they landed on?
Yeah, it's a Norwegian holiday. So it's like a mythical Norwegian creature, these like trolls with big noses. They're very freaky looking. And they actually put them under a bridge, which is so much scarier.
And where is this?
Stoughton, Wisconsin.
Okay.
53589.
Count me in.
Yeah, you should. Right. Yeah, let's go. Let's go adventure.
I have plenty of flannels. So.
So I still think it's funny how we reconnected last year because I hadn't seen, we'd known each other for some time because of comedy, but like we hadn't really started hanging out until this last year.
Until Palm Springs.
Until Palm Springs. You were actually, whose wedding was this that we were at?
It was my college buddy Brett was getting married. And so it was a real, I grew up in Seattle. I went to school in Seattle. So it was a real like Seattle reunion down there.
That's what it seems like.
And we were at the Beer Hunter in La Quinta, which is where I have frequented my entire life.
Ooh.
I grew up going to like Palm Springs for Easter and stuff like that. So the moment I turned 21.
You have family there or something?
My dad like shares a place there with somebody. So
like, cool.
When I turned 21, like the Beer Hunter, and if you can't tell by the name, it's a very classy establishment. Like,
it's full of woodsmen, guys. It's full.
It smells a little rough. There's Papa Shot, and that's really all you need.
Yeah, there was pool.
Yeah.
And beer. I mean, that's literally all I ever need.
Yeah. And we were going in, and you showed up, I believe, in a pantsuit.
Purple. It was a purple suit. So what had happened, backstory, one of my best friends from Wisconsin lives in Seattle. And so I guess her husband is friends with that guy that was getting married.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Famous.
Yeah, so somebody in that group. And so her husband was not showing up to the wedding until like an hour before the wedding on Saturday. And so I crashed her birthday in Palm Springs and just came to the wedding. And I took his rehearsal dinner pin and made it mine.
Wait, were you at the rehearsal dinner?
Yeah. I was Grant at the rehearsal dinner.
What a move. In that suit?
Yeah. No, I didn't go in that suit.
That would have been bold.
So the next day we went to a vintage store, and this is one of my favorite things to do is go to a vintage store with a friend, and we have to pick out each other's outfits. So I got her this like disgusting, my friend Carly, I made her wear this like disgusting floor length t-shirt with a zebra on it. It was like from the 70s. It was so bad. It was so bad it was cool. And then she found this power suit, like a bright blue power suit from the 80s.
You guys look great.
And I wore that.
Full of energy.
Yeah, it was amazing. We got so many compliments that night. Like, people didn't know what to think. It looked like it was a purposeful outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good thing about Palm Springs. You can kind of wear some very aged clothing and,
Yeah.
you know.
That was Palm Springs is a fun place, dude.
Dude, I love it.
I do too. I've been there only a couple of times, but every time I have like the most fun ever for some reason.
It's great going there during the summer.
Yeah.
Because the hotels are just dirt cheap. Granted, because it's like 120 degrees.
Yes.
But it's like, it's a very weird place to go during the summer because it's kind of like a ghost town.
Yeah, and it's like kind of a mix of old people and gay people, and I don't know. It's a really
young
like
Hollywood elite.
And then like some hot chicks. Like, you don't really know what to like. If you were to show up and be like, what is the brand of Palm Springs? You'd look in every different corner and be like, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how to describe it.
Brooks Brothers with some Urban Outfitters.
Exactly. That's really good.
Yeah.
It's like, and all the mists too. I really like the sidewalks. They mist you misting? At every. Yeah. Why don't they have that here? It doesn't seem like it's that hard to install those things.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not a water doctor. But, I'm on board with it. It kind of feels like you're at a water park.
Dude, I love those. When we, that weekend of that wedding, when we were staying in this Airbnb. And we looked over on one wall and saw this painting. And then on the other wall was the same painting, but it was flipped upside down. So we got wasted and we took one of the paintings off the wall. And my friend wrote on the back of it with a permanent marker, "We know."
Damn.
We know.
Do you think they have?
I hope somebody took it off and saw that, because like obviously they got lazy with their decor and decided to just buy two of the same painting and thought nobody would notice by flipping it upside down.
Yeah, I mean, because they were probably in a place where they could have just like taken a step over and just gotten a different photo.
Yeah. I mean, you only buy paintings at Home Goods, right?
Don't
Isn't that where you get the fanciest paintings? Exactly. I mean, or just don't put something there. Or tell all your tenants, your Airbnb, what do you call them? People that rent Airbnbs to doodle on the wall. Make your own art. So what do you have coming up, John? What's going on in your life? Travel?
Man, nothing. Life.
You're just trying to do
writing,
life.
Furniture, yellow shirts. It's
so basically today is your future.
Yeah. It's all changing today,
all
Natasha.
Right. So this is your turnaround, so you can actually become a future role model.
I think so.
So what was John like in high school?
Man.
Let's delve into that, because before we got here, when we first got here, we were alone in the studio for a while, and me and John got to talk about, some growing up. I basically had to MacGyver into the studio with an app that and I wasn't sure if we were going to get arrested or some alarms were going to go off. But yeah, so we were talking a little bit about, what the past couple years were like. So let's bring you up to that point in your life.
Okay.
Let's high school John it up.
High school John, man. I went to an all boys Catholic high school.
That's what went wrong.
Yeah, that was
shit.
I was on the straight and narrow until then. But yeah, I went to an all boys Catholic high school in downtown Seattle, called O'Day. I'm sure you can imagine what people called it. O'Gay.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Creative.
So creative.
Original. But yeah, it was a very sports oriented school, with it being all boys. Shocker, I was not much of a athlete.
Oh, go figure.
Yeah. But I think freshman year also I was 4'11".
Oh my God, you're teeny.
Yeah, I got fucked with.
Oh, I'm sure.
But all in good fun. All in good fun. Just kidding. Very traumatizing. But no, it was that's kind of like where I started being funny, because I think I had to be funny or else I would get fucked with.
Yeah. Yeah, we had one of my best friends growing up. He was tiny too, and we had all nicknamed him Hank the Angry Drunken Dwarf.
That's a fucking nickname.
Which he proudly owned. That was the guy from Howard Stern. Do you remember that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was when Howard Stern was like kind of that, oh, we're too young to be watching this. It's kind of dirty. And so we all, of course, did. And so he had that nickname, and he doesn't drink anymore. He's a pastor and does awesome things in Africa. So
God bless.
God bless him. But
bless him.
But back in the day, he owned that title. I feel like you have to just kind of be the tiny person and know it and be like, I'm going to rock this name.
Yeah.
Did you have a nickname?
Yeah. My nickname in high school was Squirrel.
Why?
Because my freshman year, I don't think I had quite hit puberty yet, hence the 4'11". And somebody like one of my buddies who I like grew up with, his last name is McHugh. So like I'm McKay. So he was always sitting in front of me in every class because it was alphabetical.
Yep.
And so like he threw something at me and I was like, what the fuck, man? And my voice was so high that my teacher was like, that sounded like a squirrel. And it was like the second week of school. And man, it really stuck.
It stuck. Oh no.
Yeah. It stayed like that for 4 years.
Did you get like nut jokes and stuff too? Or?
Yeah, squirrels trying to find a nut.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of that kind of stuff. Just squirrel antics.
Oh yeah. Thank God I didn't have any animal nicknames. I had other shit though.
But then somebody, or maybe it was more than one person, kept writing squirrel and like carving squirrel in like the desks and like walls of the school, but it was always like misspelled. And so I was always getting called down to the dean's office being like, why are you carving your nickname everywhere? And I wasn't.
And you were like, I can spell, dude.
Squirrel's a tough one.
It's like SKQ.
Yeah. And somebody was trying to frame me. Went on for years.
Did you ever find out who that was?
No.
Shit.
Do I still think about it?
We have to figure it out.
Yes. Every goddamn day.
If anybody out there has any clues as to who was the squirrel carver.
I have suspects in mind.
Yeah? You got a couple schmenemies?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Apparently more on their end. They really hated me.
What did you do to overcome that? Was that just your humor that you like used to kind of get out of those stitches?
Yeah. Like when I graduated, I had nobody had I forgot what the exact statistic was, but nobody had more detentions than me. Like we had an actual
win.
Yeah, we had an actual like it was like detention where you'd go and Brother Ryan, my teachers were Christian brothers. And so it was like
I didn't know that they were called brothers. That's how naive I am to Catholicism. Like I didn't know.
We called them bros. So
I guess that makes sense if they're sisters.
Yeah.
I just thought it was fathers and sisters.
No, there's the Christian bros.
There's a whole family.
Yeah.
Is anybody ever a grandpa or?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
I don't know, but like the guy who ran detention and who was the dean at the time was this guy, Brother Ryan, who was so old he wore his World War II bomber jacket. That was like his jacket.
So he was like the epitome of actual vintage.
He was terrifying.
Oh, I'm
like
sure.
He was a character out of a movie. Like he would walk down the hallways humming this classical song and like he was terrifying. And I spent a lot of time with that guy.
Dude, do you know how many detentions that was? Did they give you some sort of certificate? I feel like you should have earned something for that.
I don't know, but man, it was often. It was 2 or 3 times a week.
That is a lot.
And then every now and then a Saturday, which like fun fact, I was serving a Saturday detention while Conan O'Brien was getting married across the street. I was picking up garbage.
Holy shit. Yeah. That's actually pretty cool.
And then when I was a Conan intern, I got to tell him that story and he did not give a fuck. It's like, yo, I've been waiting since 2002, my man.
You should have crashed his wedding, man.
Yeah, he was like, oh, small world. And I was like, okay.
Okay, all right, good times.
Back to the kitchen I
you
go.
You were like, I waited this whole, oh man. People need to give out awards more for bad things. I feel like that would be, that's how my brain works. Like on the way here, my Uber driver had 4,037 rides. And I was like, how have they not given you something?
Yo, that's like...
Every 1,000 rides that you have in LA, you have 1,000 different Los Angelites in your car.
That's an OG Uber driver.
Fuck
like,
yeah,
you
right?
Not get more.
Well, and I said that to him, and then he was like, yeah, and I have another 1,000 blah, blah, blah on Lyft. And I was like, oh, okay. All right.
Casually
He's got numbers.
Out those stats.
Dude. So what, like, how do you, I have no idea what it would be like to go to a Catholic or a Christian high school. Mainly because I used to, like, even in ceramics class, I used to make dicks out of clay and like put them in the kiln, and my dicks would explode and break other people's pottery.
See, but like the thing is dick drawing at an all boys high school was a serious issue. Like they had to have an assembly because dicks were getting, like, all of our backpacks had dicks drawn on them in permanent marker. Like, we would try and one up each other by fucking with the brothers by, like, on the whiteboard, like drawing a dick in permanent marker and then turning the dick into like a bunny rabbit with a erasable marker. So then when the brothers would wipe it off, it would just be a huge dick.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It was like...
That's brilliant.
Dick drawing was a daily occurrence.
Me too. Like, and when Superbad came out, were you not upset?
It's very relatable.
Well, I was upset. I was like, somebody got a hold of my notebook. And then I realized every kid used to draw dicks into cartoons.
See, I haven't heard of a woman drawing that many dicks.
Oh, God, I drew so many dicks. And flowers. That was all I drew was dicks and flowers. And sometimes I'd make flowers out of dicks, and sometimes I'd have dicks like hiding in the vines of the flowers.
The latter is a little, that's a little dark. it's a little predatory of a penis hiding in the bushes. But I respect your artistry.
Yep.
And congratulations on all that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I'm glad to know that you had a dick problem too.
I wouldn't call it a problem. I would call it an
solution.
Art. I would call it an art.
There's just something about them that are very interesting when you're first discovering them. Like, I didn't have a dick problem where I wanted them like in my face and stuff, but I really wanted to perfect the art of like drawing dicks. So their only punishment for you was detention?
Yeah, I mean, you could really, a couple of times they would call my dad's a lawyer in his office because my high school was in downtown Seattle. His office was only like 3 or 4 blocks away. So there were a few times when, like, if I would really fuck up, they would call my dad to come get me. And in the middle of the day, like, wow, this is bad.
That's bad.
Terrifying to this day.
Oh my God. Is your dad pretty intense?
You know, he's a white collar Republican lawyer.
Yeah, that's intense.
He's kind of like, growing up, everyone's dad is much more intense than in reality they really are.
For sure.
But yeah, growing up when, like, I would learn that they were calling my dad, I was like, fuck everything.
That's like, it's crazy that, I don't know. I mean, at a Catholic school, I would think that they would have like cooler punishments than just a detention room.
Well, I all these brothers, you could tell, like, so badly just wanted to beat the shit out of you.
I'm sure.
Because they all taught that. Like, my grandfather went to this high school, and like a bunch of my uncles went to this high school.
Well, they used to be able to paddle people back in the day.
They would work on them.
Yes.
And so many of these brothers would comment on this and be like, man, if
back
it was
in the
20
day.
years ago, I would smack the shit out of you. And I was like, oh, cool. So you're a man of God.
Yeah. Well, and it used to be so acceptable when I was in kindergarten and first grade, I went to a Christian school in North Carolina, and I got paddled a lot.
Wow. That was legal?
That was legal. I got paddled and I got rulered. rulered is almost worse because it's like a little whip. And then at church, people were allowed to whip you with a switch.
When did you grow up? 1920?
It was a thing. Like other people's other parents could like have like there was a switch from a tree and there'd be like switches in the back of church. They called them switches. And you would get hit with them if you did something bad.
What an odd tradition.
And then it just like stopped and then it wasn't a thing anymore. But like it's weird when we were like age 5 to 7, like it was I definitely got paddled and switched a lot. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, especially like, hey, we're going to go to church. We're going to praise our Lord and Savior. And also we're going to beat the shit out of you.
I know, right? But with a switch, it was like light. It was kind of like being hit with like a palm frond. Like
that's fun.
It was scary, but it was also like kind of refreshing.
Yeah, it's like a little cup of coffee in the morning.
So did you graduate later on time?
High school?
Yeah.
Do people graduate high school late?
I don't know. I think so. Yeah.
Wow. No, I was 4 years. I did it, I guess. Never been applauded.
So that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, never been applauded for that.
See, there's your second trophy. Detention trophy number 1, graduating on time trophy number 2.
Yeah. And then from there went a whole 4 blocks away to Seattle University, which is a
you got crazy.
Catholic Jesuit university.
Oh my gosh. What made you go to more Catholic?
Just hadn't had my fill. I was like, these guys are a lot of fun.
You're like, there might be a whole nother group of Catholics that I need to meet.
Yeah. And no, I didn't. I got into some decent colleges. None. I don't know, man. When I graduated from high school, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to Seattle University, the safest route I could go.
Yeah. I felt the exact same way. I think it's weird if you like in your brain want to go into entertainment, but you don't feel like that's really an option. And so you just kind of pick something.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of my friends did the same shit because they were like, what do I do? Go into psychology? And like everybody realizes once they get into psychology that they didn't want to do psychology.
No, it's mind blowing.
Yeah.
I was a history major I'm like pre-law.
Oh, I wouldn't have thought that.
Oh, you couldn't see me as a lawyer? Yeah. Join the club.
I was pre-med with psych major and minor in theater.
Bipolar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Exactly. Like that's a person that can't decide and then they go to a counselor and they're like, well, just do it all. And then you do. And then you like have a panic attack because you were doing 22 credits.
That's an absurd combo.
Yeah. Isn't it weird?
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned a lot of interesting stuff and then like stopped going to the classes that I didn't like anymore and took a W on one and then stopped going to college. Did you graduate?
I did.
Oh, nice.
But it was a weird, technically my senior year, and this is like what kind of shifted me into comedy. My senior year, winter quarter, it was actually my 22nd birthday, I was diagnosed with lymphoma.
Oh, yeah.
And that was like a weird realization of like, oh, I'm definitely not going to be a lawyer. One, because I would have been so bad. So bad. And yeah, that was like kind of what made me decide to do stand-up.
In what way? Just feeling like was that kind of your realization that you weren't maybe invincible or something?
That's like exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Like I was 22. When you're 22, you have a very inflated ego. And
yeah, 100%.
You do feel invincible. And then like, yeah, I got diagnosed, did chemo and like radiation and all that stuff. And I was just like, yeah, like one day I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, fuck. Like I don't look healthy.
Yeah.
It was a very weird thing.
But you've been in remission ever since?
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
Yeah.
Good job. That deserves an actual trophy.
Thanks.
That was a high five moment, guys.
I love when people do say like good, like good job. Like you're a survivor. It's like I signed up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, right. I know. I have there's a lot of cancer in my family, and everybody's kind of got it's really great.
Well, that's great.
But everybody's got such like a cool outlook on stuff. I don't know. I mean, when you get through something, you're like, you kind of just figure out what kind of bullshit you're willing to take or not.
It is like, at the time, obviously it was a very shitty experience, but it's also like, that was hands down like the most beneficial experience of my life.
Yeah. I mean, because you had to like figure your shit out.
Well, it makes you just kind of like realize what you actually want to do with your life.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and it puts a kind of jolts you awake. Like, Paul knows Trenton. Do you know Trenton Davis?
Yeah, not well.
Not well. He survived a plane crash, and that was his moment. Like, I feel like with some people, it's like a very big moment. Like either surviving like a disease or a plane crash or a car crash or something like that, where they wake up from it and they're like, fuck, I got through that. There must be a purpose. I guess I should do something I really give a shit about now.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
No complaints.
You turn lemons into lemonade.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Or just into years of being poor in Los Angeles.
Yeah. How long have you been in Los Angeles now?
Man, 7.5 years. But it's kind of like I moved down here 7.5 years ago, but I got my master's in film directing at Chapman.
Okay.
So I lived in Orange County, which is where Chapman is, in the town of Orange, which is a very interesting vibe.
Yeah, and I don't spend a lot of time down there, but
Why would you?
What do you do in Orange County? Besides, like, if you're not a rich family kid person.
Well, that's what people, I mean, God bless the OC. Great series.
Mm-hmm.
But it really, you don't realize that there is just like that version of Orange County, like Newport, and like the wealth and whatnot is such a small percentage of what Orange County is.
Right.
Like a large portion of it is kind of a shithole. No offense to any residents of Orange County, but you live in a shithole.
I've done a couple shows out there, but it's always been in places that like weren't by the ocean or anything. I think that's what I've always pictured when I thought Orange County was like Laguna Beach.
Yeah, you think like Laguna, and then the furthest you go in from the ocean is like, Irvine.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's so many towns. Like Chapman is in the town of Orange, which looks like Pleasantville. There's like a town circle. It's where they filmed That Thing You Do.
Oh,
Tom
sure.
Hanks movie where it like takes place in the 50s.
I know that movie well.
I mean, it's great.
I love it.
But it looks really nice. But then there's like 3 bars we could go to. And it was a weird mixture of Chapman undergrad and grad students. And like Chapman is not a cheap school. So it was like, especially the undergrads, it was just kind of like yuppie white kids. And then we referred to them as townies.
Yes.
But these townies, and a lot of them were racist as fuck.
Because you had so much diversity at Chapman University.
No, there's weird, just kind of like bikers and.
Oh yeah, I know. There's a lot of that.
It's just a weird mixture.
Yeah. There's like, I was exposed to like a biker community. I had to shoot something with this biker girl, and like Topanga Canyon has a lot of that too. Like we went to this biker bar. I didn't even know they existed, but like for sure some European tourists went to there on their bicycles, thinking like they had looked up a biker bar and thought that they were going to a bicycle bar.
Wow, that's
and it was like a motorcycle.
I hope they killed them.
But yeah, so I can definitely see that demographic happening out there. But like what, I don't know. I mean, like what motivated you to get into comedy after getting your degree? From CLU. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
like you finish your degree and then you're like, well, I'm not going to use this.
Well, it was just like, I had to drop out of school. So when I got sick, so it was like,
okay,
I got sick, kind of like realized the new path I kind of wanted to take, which was like, I started doing stand-up 4 months after my last chemo. And then I had to re-enroll in school because I basically had another year because I'd fallen behind. But that year, my last year of undergrad was just like, I think I had like a 2.25 GPA because I was down at the Comedy Underground in Seattle.
Oh, yeah.
Like 5 nights
Every
out of
night.
the week. And just like, it was going from being sick and then immediately like, oh, I'm going to be drinking every night in a comedy club. Looking back on it, very odd choice to make.
I wonder what you would have been like if you like had gone the other route. You know, if you had gotten sick and been like, nah, yeah, I'm definitely going to be a lawyer. Would you think you'd be like the alcoholic lawyer?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I ended up one as is.
Kind of. For a little while.
I mean, who knows?
With a lot of history knowledge.
Yeah. I kill in bar trivia.
Who were your role models in comedy or just period, like in entertainment growing up?
In entertainment growing up, you know, Ryan Atwood, the OC. Just a kid from Chino.
Yeah?
Who made it. No.
I was like, what? Is he like a writer or?
The OC's now just so fresh on my mind. Like, why did they stop the show? Why did Misha Barton leave it?
Yeah, dude.
Does she regret it? I'm sure.
They all fell apart. I was like, I don't think he's dubbed to anything.
Man, one role model, which now I'm embarrassed about.
This is perfect, by the way. Perfect.
But like when I was sick, this was at the height of like the Lance Armstrong Live Strong.
Yeah.
Like yellow bracelet thing. And man, like everyone who was like getting chemo, everyone had like a Live Strong yellow bracelet. And I was like, wow, yeah, that guy's the goddamn man. And I jumped on that bandwagon real quick.
Hell yeah.
And then, man, it was really interesting when it came out when he was like, no, I was taking steroids. And everyone was just like, fuck everything else he's done.
It's funny how like one thing like that can just ruin a person in a way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, it's just steroids. I think there's such worse things you could be doing. I mean, I get that it's cheating and that sucks, but you know, he didn't murder anybody with his bicycle.
Yeah, they were just like, yeah, we don't care that you beat cancer, and then went back and won the Tour de France. Like,
yeah,
regardless, it was cheating.
Right.
By the way, you have one testicle.
I mean, technically, some people's genetics are cheating because some people are just designed to do certain sports better.
Some people are more jacked than others.
You know what? If people want to do roids, let them. That's my roid sponsorship. No, I'm just kidding. That's terrible.
I would love to do roids for a year and just see what I can get into.
I know. I would love to see how like muscly my back could actually get. Just kidding.
You're already like a strong, fit woman. I got some room for correction. I don't want to hear it.
I see you running on Runyon. I've seen you running once on Runyon.
Was I running or was I?
You were walking. You're right.
I was strolling, definitely like waiting for the signal to come back so I could get back to making some hot content on the Instagram stories.
I think what you have to do on Runyon is every time you go around a bend, you have to jog. And then when you come around the bend, you can stop jogging. And then it looks like you're...
Wow, that looks good.
Yeah, it looks really good because then people are coming through the bend the other direction. They're like, oh, that guy's just taking a breather. He just ran like all the way up the hill.
I do this every goddamn day.
I'm available for coaching, gentlemen, if you want to know what actually turns the ladies on Runyon Canyon. No, but for real, like, do you have any actual role models or anybody that you like wanted to mimic your comedy after? Because I was a big Mitch Hedberg fan when I first started comedy.
I mean, Mitch Hedberg, when in comedy, Mitch Hedberg was huge because he was like a Comedy Underground guy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, especially when I started there at the old Comedy Underground, there were only a handful of like large photos of comics. And like Mitch Hedberg
he was one of them.
Just like the most idolized.
He was so cool.
And but like one of the DVDs that I watched that made me like really contemplate doing it. And it's now, it's dated so horribly because of the content, but is Eddie Murphy's Delirious.
Oh yeah.
Like watching that, like blew my mind. That was like the first stand-up set that I like rewatched.
Yeah.
And then obviously like, I mean, it sounds like such a cliche, but like Robin Williams.
Yeah. Well, because he was so good at being weird, like unabashedly weird. And I always really liked people like that, like silly.
Yeah, I was just like, man, that guy's sweating a lot.
Yeah, he was just silly. Like my favorite was Lucille Ball. And like I grew up watching Taxi and stuff. I don't know why I was like 7 and liked those shows so much, but like that's what I was obsessed with.
Yeah.
Like the sitcom characters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And at first, like I never wanted to do stand-up. I accidentally started. And so...
How do you accidentally start stand-up?
Do you know a comedian named Brian Swinehart?
No.
Okay. I was bartending in Chicago doing improv. And like back in the day, I thought because I liked I Love Lucy and that stuff so much, I really wanted to do like characters. So I only did like improv and sketch. And I thought it was way cooler than stand-up for some reason. For like 4 or 5 years, I did this. And I was bartending across from Second City, and it was next to Zany's in Chicago. And this comedian, Brian Swinehart, and I haven't seen him in years, but we're like, we used to be pretty good pals. I haven't seen him in a long time, but I
hope you guys connect again.
Yeah, no, he was in town performing, and I had never met him before. I had never been to LA before, and he came into my bar, ordered food and drinks, and went out for a quote unquote cigarette and never came back. But he had left me his like number or something.
Wow,
so,
smooth operator.
Like 4 hours go by, and I call him, and I'm like, hey, it was like a Sunday, and I was like, hey, dude, what the fuck? He had been talking to me about stand-up, and he was here performing and was telling me like the rules of stand-up and all this stuff. I was like, what the fuck? You walked out on your tab, and he was like, oh, I feel really bad. I'm just really poor. I'll come back and pay it. And like came back, and I was like, dude, what was that? And he was like, I'm sorry. He's like, if you're ever out in LA, you can sleep on my couch and I'll get you some stand-up gigs. And so I said, okay. And so the next month I flew to LA. He let me stay on his couch, and he got me booked at John Lovett's Club.
Damn, John Lovett's Club.
So I put together a 10-minute set, and I did a 10-minute set at John Lovett's Club. My first time ever performing stand-up in LA was a 10-minute set. It was like my 5th set of my life.
That's crazy.
That's how I got into stand-up, over some fucking fried chicken and an unpaid beer tab.
Damn, worked out.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, you've been doing stand-up how many years now?
I started late 2009.
Okay, you almost had a decade.
Yeah, wow.
Dude.
When you say it like that.
That's crazy.
It's interesting.
Yeah. How does that feel? We don't have to go there.
Dark.
No, but you hit some bumps along the road getting up to this point.
Yeah?
Yeah. I like to talk about that stuff, though, because I've always been a very vocal lover of drinking. Like, not to the point where it's like, you know, I don't choose to like drink all day, but I really like beer.
Yeah, I mean, you're from Wisconsin.
I know. It's kind of like inside of my body.
Yeah. It's your genetics.
Like when I'm in New York performing and I'm bored and it's 3:00, like I don't know what else to do but like go to a random pub and get a beer.
But New York's such a great city for that.
Oh yeah.
In LA, it's kind of like, I mean, I don't drink anymore, but when like I lived in New York for a summer, like I was a Fallon intern.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was the booziest summer of my life.
I'm sure, because everything's on foot. So you can just drink unabashedly without worrying about how you're getting places.
Yeah, like nothing makes walking more fun than being drunk.
For sure. And bicycle riding sometimes is really fun.
Really anything. Really anything is way more fun drunk.
Yeah, trying on clothes. Like drunk shopping is the best.
Yeah, living.
Yep.
Sure.
So, yeah, so that was your boozy summer, and then you came back to LA.
That was summer of 2012, and then that carried on for about another 2 years, and then in August of 2014, checked into Cliffside, Malibu, which is a rehab.
Yes,
and
It is not a senior living home, nor is
Not-
it an apartment complex. It is the other one.
But wow, what a time.
Yeah. I know you were telling me a little bit about that. Like what is a highlight and a low light of rehab?
I mean, by the time I checked in, like it was very much like a relief because it just like wasn't fun anymore. It was kind of like a very dark time. But
what was the low point before you decided, okay, I should go to rehab?
there wasn't a specific instance, or I didn't get in legal trouble or anything like that. It was more just kind of like some friendships were becoming strained, and it was there were some other substances partaking with the alcohol, very late nights into early mornings and days. But it was just kind of just all a train wreck. And it just like, I wasn't doing shit. Like I wasn't really doing stand up really anymore. Like I was going to the Comedy Store and like, drinking my ass off.
Well, it's easy to drink there though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I used to do that too.
Yeah. But like, I just wasn't doing shit, and then kind of like tried to wrangle it, and didn't work.
Yeah.
So.
And this is what people don't understand about people that do move out here when they're like 22 or 18, is that it's so easy to get caught up in these like scenes because it is fun. And you do meet some really cool people that are like super interesting, and it's fun to party with interesting people.
Yeah.
But if you're young, you don't have the wherewithal to like get out of it.
Right.
At least if you're older, you can like make the conscious decision like, oh, I guess I need to fucking stop this because I have to be an adult and get like work.
Yeah, I just kind of like it was a weird time. I was 29. I'm 33 now, but it was like some of my buddies who I had started doing stand up with, like, were starting to get like Conan spots. Like some of them were getting, TV roles, and it was just like I was kind of just like, what the fuck am I doing?
Right.
And yeah. So went up there.
Yeah. Okay. So a highlight and a low light of rehab.
Highlight is, I mean, I do bits about this, but like I lucked out going to that one. I mean, there's very different types of rehab, but that one is like Lindsay Lohan went there, and like Scott Disick.
It's kind of the creme de la creme of rehabs.
It was like, it was nice.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of like a little hotel. Like they had a chef, and like food was made, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And like, it was like sweeping views of the Pacific.
And that's why some people do check into rehab for exhaustion, right? Because they just are like, I want to go.
Oh yeah, there were definitely
somewhere.
There were definitely people there where I was like, why are you here? And they were just like, just tired.
Yeah.
I was like,
people do that.
Go to a sandals resort and live your life.
I know. But I think people just don't want to be bothered, that's why they go to a place like.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like that aspect of it was great. But then at the same time, it's like, we talked about this earlier, but like I was there for 3.5 months, and like 3.5 months at a rehab, when you're not really doing shit, it's like you feel like your life, which it kind of essentially has, is just stopped. Like you're not progressing in a career. You're obviously not like, I mean, you're kind of forming new relationships there with people, but it's just like your life is just stopped, and you're just, you still have access at that place. At least a lot of places limit your access to social media, but I was still able to go on like Facebook and have my phone after your first 3 days. And it's just like, you're seeing other people just like living their lives and like doing spots.
Yeah.
And I was not. It was just sitting there.
Yeah. I mean, like, what was that like, leaving the comedy scene and then coming back into it after being like at a facility for a while?
It was like,
Because I'm putting that out there because I feel like I have other comedian pals who have like gone through stuff and they're scared to disappear for a while. Like people are scared of getting sick, or people are scared of like for example, my friend Jay Washington, he's a really awesome friend and he'll probably be on this in the next couple episodes, but he was just like hospitalized for a while.
Damn.
And I went and visited him and he was like, he couldn't talk because he had like a trach in and stuff. And he was like, yeah, I'm just really scared people aren't going to book me if I'm like sick for a while. And I was like, dude, just get better. Like it's going to be okay. But I think that's a fear a lot of comics have, is like disappearing from the scene for a couple weeks and then like they feel like they're going to be irrelevant all of a sudden.
I mean, I feel like I didn't actually feel like, oddly enough, like I didn't actually feel like a comic until I got out, and I think I had a little more level head and was focusing more on kind of my material and stuff like that. But like, I didn't actually feel like a comic until after I got out of rehab and started doing sets again.
Yeah.
Just because, I don't know, man, like I was always so fucked up at every spot I was doing.
Yeah. I used to be like that too, actually. And I don't drink before shows anymore, or like I might have like a beer or two, but I don't like, I used to get really fucked up before shows when I lived in Chicago. And it's pretty crazy that I used to be able to perform that way.
I know, it's always fun kind of thinking about it. Just like, wow.
Like, I don't remember, there's many sets I don't remember where people were like, afterwards, they were like, yeah, you were really funny. You like repeated this one joke like twice, but like it was funny. I'm like, okay, well, these are funny. But, you know, that's what happens when you're like 24 and doing comedy. Like,
yeah. Trying to live like a 24-year-old, but also having to speak in front of people.
Yeah. Like friends come to your show and you're like, I'll take a shot of Jameson before I go on stage. And then like, you know, you have 3. And then before you know it, you're getting off stage and you're like, shit, I just performed. Oh, yeah. So you felt like that did that give you like a good boost of new material too?
Yeah, it gave me new material, and then just like right when I got out of rehab is when I got hired at Funny or Die. Like I think 2 days after I moved out.
Oh, cool.
I started full time at Funny or Die. So it was like that combined with kind of like a new approach to stand up. It was like I felt very much in the comedy
You were
world.
John, finally.
I've
John.
become myself.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah.
You've survived some stuff for 33. I'm 33 as well, but I haven't survived anything nearly as dope.
I mean, I don't know. You were just in the Virgin Islands doing stand-up by yourself.
God,
I've
it was
heard some
so
things.
hard.
It sounds difficult. Thoughts and prayers.
Jet skiing, being in the sun all day, drinking beer, and then doing comedy. It's horrible. Those are 4 things I absolutely despise.
I was following the Instagram. Yeah.
But that's a thing that I decided to start doing a couple years ago, was like figure out where I want to go and just like make shows happen there. And I'm trying to do that more and more.
Yeah, that's rad.
Yeah. So next stop is Berlin, hopefully.
God bless it.
I want to go party with some Berliners. I hear they're fun. In kind of wrapping this up, like what would you say to people that are going through? There are a lot of people with substance abuse issues, so that's a good thing to give somebody some pointers on. Like, how do you know when enough's enough? Like, you know, what's your Johnism? Leave somebody, drop some fucking wisdom balls, okay?
I feel like I'm the last person to be dropping like wisdom balls on being sober and maintaining sobriety because it's been a train wreck.
It's hard because drinking is fun, you guys.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that before.
It's a blast until the darkness hits.
And then you're like, shit.
Man, I don't know. I guess it's just kind of, it's just one of those things you can't tell. There's so much fucking advice about sobriety but it's like, you can't, like I was ready to kind of like hang up towel.
Yeah.
And again, like I was telling you, there were plenty of people that would finish their 30 days and be back the next day.
Right.
Like you kind of just, you can't give someone advice until they're just ready to be done themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know. In the long run, it made me a better comic. It made some aspects of being a comic more difficult. But
oh, sure. Yeah, like the socializing part.
Yeah, the socializing part.
But you're just so fun and spunky as it is, so you don't need it.
No, it's a facade. I feel like everyone hates me.
You just need more Red Bull in your life.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's any better, to be honest.
Oh my God. Dude. The amount of sugar-free Red Bull and Diet Coke that now I consume, it's like it would be healthier if I just went back to cocaine and booze.
Yeah, I think they're made of the same stuff.
Like 12 Diet Cokes a day. There was a time where I was at like 12 DCs a day.
Dude.
And like...
that's some aspartame addiction right there.
What's the long-term effects of that?
Dude, I don't know, but they should do... because they have all those documentaries. They had like the Super Size Me back in the day, and then like I don't know, the ones about people that eat meat, but I love meat, and so I can't watch those ones. But then they should do one on like Diet Coke drinkers, because I don't drink soda unless I'm drinking.
Oh, interesting.
So if I'm drinking, I drink soda as a mixer.
Okay.
So I probably drink a lot more soda than I actually think I'm drinking.
Because I switched. I forgot what I was watching, or maybe I read something, but it was just like talking about how horrible specifically Diet Coke is. And this is after like 2 years straight, like my first 2 years of sobriety. It was like every night I was out and like I had to have something in my hand. It was Diet Coke. Like I was slamming Diet Cokes.
Oh, yeah. I know that, because like that's why I drink. That's why I put water in my hand as often as I can if I'm out, because if I have something in my hand, I just keep drinking it. And that's why it's so easy to like get really fucked up.
And that's why I have a drinking problem.
And that's why 2 Sundays ago, I meant to go out with my friend Ariel for like 2 drinks on a rooftop. And then like 3 hours later, I'm like dancing in the back of a cab with some strangers. And
Which rooftop? Which rooftop?
EPLP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Plug in EPLP.
Didn't know if it was that. Maybe Mama's Shelter.
Yeah, there's a couple good rooftops nowadays.
Who knows?
I'm a big rooftop fiend. I like dangling from things, and rooftops are dangerous for me.
It sounds very dangerous.
Whenever I'm in New York, I always tell my friends, if we're out drinking, please watch out for me around scaffolding, because I will climb it and then I will hang from it.
I would always try and climb it, but like that was about as far as I could get.
Oh man, like 7 years ago, I went to my first comedy festival. It was probably 8 years ago now, in New York. It was the Del Close Comedy Festival. So it was a bunch of improv, like UCB people. And I climbed a scaffolding about 3 floors, which is actually pretty dangerous.
But also impressive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And probably fun to watch.
In heels.
Damn, that's crazy.
And I'm not sure. See, that should be my reward, or I should be getting an award for that. The scaffolding climbing. All right. So 2-year plan. What do you think? Go.
2-year plan?
Yeah. What are you going to accomplish? We're going to listen back on this podcast in 2 years, and you're going to have done it. Go. Lay it out there.
I mean, obviously, Larkin Furniture, the best furniture in all of Los Angeles, maybe even the world. Heavy social presence. A lot of people hashtagging it.
You should go back to the rehab center and ask them if you can design their whole place with your furniture.
Wow, I would love to redesign that place.
Wouldn't that be cool?
It needs some work.
See, there we go.
Some work. Parts of it were a little tired.
We're putting ideas together.
Now that you're saying that.
And you can brand it with something, and then all the celebrities that go there will be like, that's a Larkin.
Yeah.
This place is money.
This screams Larkin. Now let's talk recovery.
And obviously you're going to be on Conan, so you can tell him the story for the 3rd time.
Yo, he just won't care. He just won't. He won't care. And then another time, man, and like I'm not talking shit about Conan, but his wife is from Seattle, so he goes to Seattle every Christmas. And one time I saw him downtown at the original Nordstrom's, and I said, "Hey, Conan, I used to be one of your interns." He was like, "Cool. Happy holidays." Just walked by me. And I said, "Fuck, cool." All right.
Dude, that guy probably gets like bothered so much. I did watch his stuff in Haiti recently, and it was like the best stuff I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was
like
good.
Him in Haiti is so funny because obviously he sticks out like ridiculously. He looks like a clown.
And Haiti is hilarious.
So tall and white and orange. It was really cool. Anyway, so if anybody hasn't seen those clips, definitely Google it. Okay. So in closing, social media, recap that.
I mean, I don't know. In 2 years, I want to be alive. I want to still be doing comedy. I hope we're all still very close friends.
Yes, of course.
And God bless America.
Amen. Ain't that right? You can find me at NPH Comedy. You can follow the whole network of awesome podcasters at CPU Podcasts and at Comedy Pop-Up. And John, what is your social media again?
John L. McKay.
John L. McKay, guys. This has been fun. Thanks for tuning in to Future Role Model.